Chude, how dare you get depressed?
Oh, I love that question. I love that question. Oof, I love that question. You know, I thought to myself, when if you're a Christian and you're a Christian, there's a place where you see it in the Bible where Job's wife said, curse God and die. And in my mind, I thought, this is dramatic. Maybe this is a metaphor. What does it mean by curse God and die? But I remember, and I talk right in the book, that I used the curse word on God in the middle of depression. I was so angry. And this question, it's not the way you've asked it, but it's what you are asking. I said, how dare I be depressed? Like, look at all the things I've achieved in my life. Look at all the things that God has blessed me with. Look at all the things. And look at even my life as a Christian. I pay my tithe. I go to church. I do, all those things that we outline, or I outlined as my spiritual CV. And so I couldn't believe, Sheon. You are right. That's why I love the question. I couldn't believe that I was depressed. I couldn't believe that I despaired. There's a part the Apostle Paul? I said, and they despaired of life itself. I couldn't believe that I, Chude, despaired of life itself.
Did you realize you were in depression when you were?
I was diagnosed. So when I was helpless, when I was completely helpless, when I couldn't function anymore. I couldn't go to work, couldn't do any of the normal things I do. When I lost joy completely, nothing made me happy. I couldn't even move physically. And I knew that something was wrong. I didn't know it was depression. Then I went and booked a session with a therapist, and the therapist said it was depression.
In Nigeria?
A Nigerian therapist, yeah.
There are therapists in Nigeria.
Oh, yes, there are therapists.
We thought that that's not a Nigerian culture.
Exactly. And that's
to see a therapist.
Yes. In fact, at my book launch, I brought out my therapist and celebrated her in public because that's one of the traditions that I want my book to break, the taboo. There are a lot of important Nigerians see therapists. They're ashamed of talking about it. I don't know why. But yes, we have Nigerian therapists that are excellent.
So how long did it take you to be in the depressive mode?
Right. If I calculate from when I began to feel the symptoms, and mine was very short, thankfully. It was 3 months. It felt like a lifetime, but it was 3 months. From when I began to feel the symptoms, if I remember correctly, to when I laughed for the first time. Yeah, it took me 3 months to laugh. Yeah. And that's the danger. Depression is a bastard. It steals your joy. So it's not illegitimate. When people say, "Oh, I'm depressed," I'm like, if you are depressed, Nile so.
You won't be the one telling
the details because I write in my book that you want to come out of, you don't even have the energy to want to fight it. Your energy is
like a hole, dark hole. Yes. You are in between. You don't know whether you are in life or death, or you are just in a space. Because the way you described it, if anybody had gone through life and you are at the cusp of depression, you will feel it.
Yes.
Every sense of reasoning, feeling, any rationality will exit your body. And your mind is levitating. And you are in that place where you only need God and some extraordinary measure to take you out.
You've said it all. I said there are two things that God taught me, that life has taught me, and I think it's God I think it's God teaching me. One is this political humility I said to you, because I used to be a self-righteous, because I always say two things. So I'm going to two things. I always say that unlike any other person, I challenge anybody to go and find an article I've written in the past that I've done something that contradicts it. And I've been writing since I was 15. I take my time to write. So I've always, and then government, there's people in government. I'm not a flamethrower. People in government know how, in society government, political positions I've said no to, hundreds of millions I've said no to, all of that. So I fancy myself to be a person of integrity. So the first thing that God did was humble me through Buhari, to say your self-righteousness needs to come down. The second humility I learned was depression. Because I can conceivably see myself, if I hadn't gone through it, saying to somebody, you can get over it. But because I've gone through depression, I know that there are some things that some people cannot get over by their own power, but by the grace of God. So,
did you feel like dying?
Oh, yes. I write it in the book. Oh, yes. I felt like dying multiple times. One time, I almost took a step,
to commit suicide.
Yes, on the Eko Bridge in Lagos. Eko Bridge. I think, as I remember the story, I So part of the thing, so a lot of issues had been happening, relationships, health, all of that. But the thing that finally, so I was progressing towards depression because it was life situations that were collapsing. Then I entered a financial crisis. And then that now tipped. Yeah? Because before that, I've never been, from when I was 15, I said any money. So I'd never faced a financial crisis. And so I fell inside.
You were broke.
I thought I was broke. And it's important for me to say that because when I came out of the depression and the panic, I realized I wasn't actually broke. I had a healthy savings. But I was digging into the savings. And I had never digged into my savings. I started working at the age of 15. This was 31. So for 16 years, I had never digged into my savings. So you dig into month 1, you dig into month 2, and new money is not coming in. So you're like, wait, I can literally see my life sliding into poverty in front of me. But when I came out of depression and I learned the things I have now learned, I thought, but that's why you have savings for times of difficulty.
Did you almost do things that you never or could never have believed could have compromised your integrity, your person, your belief when you were depressed?
Sadly not. Thankfully not.
Okay.
But who knows what would have happened if that continued for one more year?
You know what happened? So there's a friend of mine, we're having this, and when you have honest conversation with friends, there are things, and I apologize if I'm divulging this conversation right on this platform, because this is a private, personal conversation that I had with the person. And we were talking about life, and he was talking about his business and how things were really, really getting bad. And he said for a moment that he knows people who are into homosexuality and they are making money off it. And for a moment, he felt, I'm poor, my sexuality is intact. What is the sense in it? Why don't I compromise my sexuality
and make money with
and
it?
live? You know, depressive tendency could push people.
Well, life could
and it's
push.
not an exactly 100% explanation.
Yes.
But when life happens to you, and when your humanity breaks and caves in, you could do anything.
Absolutely. You see, I say to people, and I say it goes without saying, but I've never done anything illegal in my life. Like, I've just never. But
you've done immoral things.
We all have done immoral things.
We all have sinned.
We all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. We all have.
If not for God.
If not for God. But even I don't even think that I've done unethical things when it comes to, ethics of my work, ethics of being a human being. But that's not the point. I'm coming to the place where I say, but I've learned to be humble. The fact that I have not done it might just be that I have not been put in a situation
compromising.
that forces me. I tell people that the reason why it was easy for me to say no to joining government, not that there's anything wrong with joining government, it was possible for me to say no because I had a thriving business. And I knew that I didn't want to join government, so I began to build I learned incidentally from Mr. John Momo, if you want to avoid temptation, build a thriving organization. So for me, I learned that there's a what's her name? There's a Maya Angelou saying that she popularized, I am human. Nothing human is alien to me. If a human being does something, I tell myself that means that any human being can do that thing. I am never, Apostle Paul, I think it's him that said, let he who stands take heed lest he fall. And there's something in the Bible that says, guard your heart, for out of it come the issues of life. It is the most arrogant people that always end up making unethical decisions because they think, I can't, I can never. And so when they do it, they now hide it.
Fall under the pride.
Yes. So no, I'm proud of the life I've lived so far, but I don't judge people when they fall.
And I asked you that question, how dare you go into depression? And you wrote in that book, you said, quote, what I was looking for wasn't happiness. It couldn't have been happiness because I found those in several moments of my life. I had people who loved me and who I loved, great friends, close family, exceptional colleagues. I had enjoyable hobbies and a career that made an impact. And there are people who all of the seven things that you said here don't have any and they are not depressed. So how dare you, who God has blessed with family, great friends, career, early start to life, get depressed? Those who will say, Chude, you're ungrateful.
Yes. And it is also possible that I was ungrateful. When I look, and this is me, I'm not talking about other people dealing with depression. When I look back at my life, I was ungrateful. You know, if I knew more about gratitude, it might have helped me a bit in the process. But also, it's that I tell people that depression is an illness. It's a pathology. It's almost like asking somebody, how dare your kidney fail when you have all this money? It's an illness. Nobody predicts an illness. So all our minds, there's, Archbishop Desmond Tutu wrote about fragile minds. Some of us are more fragile than others. Some of us, things affect us more deeply than others. Some of us, the thing that we fear the most happens to us. There are men that are rich, that everything, they might be poor as long as their private parts are working.
And
so when that hits them, that's when they will fall into depression.